Hi, this is Abdulaziz Khan with a new video on PMP. A lot of my friends they sometimes ask me that how they can also appear for a PMP exam and what are the prerequisites and what are different kind of tips if I have any for them. So I just chalked down these points and then I made an article and I have put it on my website. And this link I will put it in my description of this video so that you can go on this link as well and you can read this article. It will help you uh, guide that. For example, if you want to appear in a PMP exam, then what steps you should follow. So first thing that I have put it here is that basically I have made three sections in this article. First is that who can appear in PMP or CAPM, because sometimes if someone don't have enough education, he just have completed only 12 grades and he don't have any experience and still he needs any project management certification, then this is an associate level. This A is for associate, certified associate project manager. So and PMP is project management professional. So this is for professional and this is for associate. So for associate you don't need any experience and you just need to have completed 12 grades of education. So here I have put basically how you can be how you can see that where do you lie. I mean, for example, if you have done a graduate level or uh, better than graduate, if for example you are masters or PhD, then you need to show 2 years of project management experience. This experience should be with either with a company or you can have it privately as well. But whatever you do is the thing is that you should be able to show or you should be able to prove somehow that you have been doing a project management related job. And one thing that I want to give a tip at this point, basically if you take my words for it, everything is basically a project management job unless it is very certain that it is not a project management job. I mean, it's very difficult to prove that something is not a project management related thing because its project management is not uh, it's not a kind of discipline or a kind of like for example it's not like an IT or engineering or medical. Or project management is basically a methodology or it's a kind of concept that how do you do things. If you are doing something with very proper SOPs, for example, if you are doing a private business of a car wash, I'm just giving an example. So if you take every car which comes to your car wash, you take some initial steps that are followed. I mean, for example, you check the car from outside and how the car is looking, how it should be cleaned, what things should be used, and then you make a kind of a recommendation for the person, and then he washes the car based on the same given recommendation. And then either at the end of the day and during the car wash also, you monitor and control how the things are being done, if the SOPs are being followed or not. And then at the end of the day, if there is any mistake found, and then that mistake is written down and you make it a kind of lesson learned and you change your processes based on that. then you are not only doing a project management, but you are following a agile kind of methodology, which is, you can say, a more advanced version of project management. So this is something which I found that a lot of person, they have this misconception that if their degree or their job name is not a project manager, then they are not managing a project. No, it's not like that. I know a lot of doctors, I know a lot of pharmacists, I know a lot of other professions who are very different. I mean, like for example, a doctor is a doctor. I mean, he's not a project manager, but that doctor is PMP certified and he's using the PMP methodologies in his day-to-day work. So uh, when you have to show this some years of experience, then to keep this thing in mind, that this experience, you have to show that this experience is based on project management methodologies, and for that you have to have some initial information of what is a project management and how it is done. This is, you can say that this is kind of prerequisite of anything. I mean, if you want to do a PMP, you should have some understanding of what is PMP and why is PMP and what is project management. But if you have some idea of project management, then it's not very difficult that whatever you are doing, you can put it in a project management way. So let's come back to the actual requirements. If you have a 4-year degree, like for example, you are a graduate, 16 years of education, then you need to show 3 years of project management experience. If you have a 12-year degree, high school diploma, not a degree, I mean associate, then you need to show 5 years of project management experience. And if you are a postgraduate, like we talked in the first way, then you need to show 2 years of experience. And this 35 contact hours of project management study, this is part of all of these. Only for CAPM, I think I missed it here. I will update it, but only for CAPM you need 23 hours of contact hours of studies. This study also, I will give you tip number 2, that this study, it should either be from a registered someone who is registered with PMI, which they call RPEs, and registered project management educationers or something like that. Or if, for example, you are an engineer or you are an MBA and a part of your course was project management as well, like some of the advanced universities, they have added this project management in their normal coursework. So if you have done this in your coursework, I believe that PMI accept last 5 years of educational certification. So if you can show them that you have done this in your part of your coursework, your name of your course, and how many hours you had studied. This 35 hours means that you have studied 35 exact hours. It's not like the hours that are calculated in the universities, that because those hours are in a different way. If you have a course which has a value of 2 hours, then it means that you should take 2 hours study per week. So but your total hours may be much more. I mean, for example, if it is a normal semester and if you have a 2 hours course, then maybe this 2 hours will actually become 24 contact hours or something like that, whatever is prevalent in your university. So contact hours means that how much hours, actual hours, you have studied from a teacher. Like for example, in a normal day of 7 hours, if you study from someone for 5 days, so you can complete this 35 hours in a week. Most of the project management courses are built on the same principle. They teach you in 1 week, in the 5 working days. Or sometimes, if you are in a very big hurry, some very fast track people, they can complete your 35 hours in 2 days of the weekend. And they just kind of manipulate because it's practically not possible to study 35 hours in 2 days. So they teach you almost 16 or to 20 hours, but they give you a certificate of 35 contact hours. You basically need a certificate of 35 contact hours that okay, this uh, registered educationist, he has taught you for 35 hours. So who can appear? We saw here that who can appear? Anyone having a degree or education of more than 12 years, which is called a high school diploma in the US generally. In Pakistan, it's called FSC, and you should be minimum FSC. If you are FSC, you need to show 5 years of experience, and if you are graduate BSc with 4-year degree, then you need to show 3 years of experience. If you are postgraduate, you need to show 2 years of experience, and for all of these you need to show 35 contact hours. If you don't have any experience, if you have zero experience and you still want a project management certification with you, you can go for CAPM. You need 23 contact hours of project management studies, and you don't need any experience, but the certification that you will get will be called CAPM. It will not be called a PMP. So how to fill the form? To fill the form, I have put these first five are basically for filling the form. First, you need to register on the PMI website, then you need to fill your application form, then you need to submit your application form. Now this is the tricky part. I will go it in detail, but you may be audited. I mean, sometimes around 10% applications are audited at a random value. And then you need to submit your exam fee. And then after submitting your exam fee, you should prepare. But this preparation, technically, this preparation should be start much before than everything. Because if you want to appear for a PMP, better that you start to prepare for the exam so that you at least know that how PMP is done, what are the requirements, so that if you feel that this is something which is not too much relevant to you, then you can just leave it in the start. I mean, if you go through all of this and then you start preparing and then you came to know that this is not something for me, then this will be a big issue for you as well, because you will have already submitted the fee, and then this fee is returnable. I mean, if you don't go in the exam, then before going, I mean, if you don't go in exam and you just miss the exam, then most of your fee is gone. But even if a few days before the exam, you can get all of your money back. So after submitting fee, you need to prepare for exam, and then you should need to appear for exam. After you have submitted the fee, you have, I believe, you have 90 days. But after you have submitted your application form, you have 1 year. At this point, if you are at this point, you have submitted your application form and your application form is accepted and they ask you to deposit your fee, then you have 1 year, one whole year to deposit your fee. And once you deposit your fee, then you can have a date within 90 days. So these are some of the dates that should be in your mind. For example, when you submit your application form, it takes 10 to 15 days. When you get an audit, this audit has to be returned in 90 days. So there are some days as well. uh, if anyone needs any proper guideline, he can always comment on it, or he can send me any kind of message and I will reply. Appearing in an exam, currently PMI has arranged that you can give your exam at your home because of COVID-19. So you don't have to visit anywhere, and this is better in a way that generally when PMP exams are on a bit of you can say that because normally Pearson take this exam and Pearson is taking the exam, uh, maybe in your city there are only 1 or 2 seats per day. So sometimes you don't have dates. You have to wait for the dates for many days. But now, because it's in your home and it's a proctored exam, someone is watching you because they ask you to make a full arrangement of a camera so that anyone or someone could be looking at you, that how you are doing it. But because that single proctor can watch a lot of people, so it's kind of easy for them. So, but the thing to say is that currently you can give the exam very easily at your home. So it's like a good chance as well, and it's like, for example, like you don't have any excuse that I cannot appear because there's no exam right now. This is not like that kind of thing. There are exams. This gathering of information, I have put it after this, uh, but practically it should be done before uh, you start doing your things. Before you start filling your application form, that's why I've written information gathered through information gathering process will help here. So you can register on PMI website at any time. This registration is almost free of charge. There are two kind of registration. One is only registration of the website. You just register on the website. You don't get any big benefits through this registration. It's a kind of simple, you are a simple user. You are not a PMI member. Uh, but you can take a membership as well. The membership is paid and it's almost $140. But the good thing is that if you are a member and then you apply for a PMP exam, then you get a $150 discount. So discount is higher than the membership fee. So that's why if anyone is going to appear in the PMP, my recommendation is that you must take PMI membership, not only registration. Don't take the registration only. Register on the site and become a member as well. Because once you become a member, you get some benefits. Those benefits are not, I will not say that those benefits are too much, but the best benefit is that you get a good discount on your exam fee. So once you plan that, okay, I want to become a PMP, so first what you do is that you start gathering information about yourself. This information should always be with you. It should be in a form of your CV or whatever. But here you need to show generally these three things. For example, in your job related things where you need to show 2 to 5 years of experience, you need to list down the places where you have worked. Those are companies or you have worked privately. What was your roles and responsibilities when you have worked on those companies? And what was the duration of the projects? And uh, I have added one Excel sheet here. Let me open that Excel sheet for you. This Excel sheet you can download from this article. What I have done here is that I have made here a summary of your projects. So from this summary, for example, you have done these 8 projects in your life. You should put the actual project name here. Like for example, like I told you that if you are running a car wash, so you should write here that car wash project, or running a car wash, or whatever. For example, if you are a doctor and you are working in uh, for example, some clinic, then you should write here that you are doing this thing. You are, I mean, you have to be a bit of more, you can say that creative, uh, that whatever you are doing, give it a projectized name. Don't give it a simple name. Like for example, if you are a doctor and you are working for some hospital and there you did something, then try to give it a description which is like, for example, you are a doctor in for eye, and you have a clinic in a hospital and you improved that how people should be treated, how they should come and how they should be visited, and then how they should leave. Then you can make it a proper naming, like for example, change management of consultation process. So because I'm not of this field basically, so I'm not able to maybe give a good example. But for example, like in telecom, we have optimization projects and network launches and expansion projects. So you should give it some kind of projectized name, and where you put some kind of process name or improvement type of thing or expansion or these kind of things. These things are basically very, very general. They don't have to be done with any specific kind of domain. So you should give a description, you should provide a company name, your project start and end date. This days should be calculated by itself. It will calculate the months as well. It will calculate the working days based on the month, and it will calculate the working hours. So basically, if for example, uh, if you have to provide 2 years experience, so 2 years experience means 24 months of experience. So for example, this one project, I put it as a 31-month project. So if this single project is able to cover 2 years experience, I mean, you don't need to add anything else. This is also based on your own. I mean, I will give it to you as a tip that don't try to give very much extra information. For example, if with 2 or 3 projects you can complete your required years, then don't go beyond that. Because what will happen is that, for example, if I make it for me, because I have 22 years of experience of working with in 3 countries and for many people. So I can write down maybe very easily 200 projects with no problem. I mean, I can just think of 200 projects from my mind that I can very easily write here. But the problem is, for example, if my application is caught in the audit, if they say that, okay, please provide all the required information. Now assume that at this time, from where I will bring the experience and the letters and the recommendations for my last 22 years of service. So I will have no other option than to scrap that and put a new application. This is if you are also, for example, if you give more information and you are caught in this, then the only option that you have is that you change everything. I mean, you just drop that application fully and you launch a new application. But I will give, because I am giving it the tips to you initially so that you don't waste your time. So what you do is that you try to give 2-3 projects which are enough to show that you have the experience of 2 years or 3 years or 5 years, whatever is required. When you will be filling the form also tells you that if you have put the qualified numbers or not. I mean, so further, what is this? These sheets are basically per project based. For example, this project one, this has a sheet here. This project one I have put it as 1243 hours. Now what I will do is that basically a project life cycle has 5 specific things. You can watch some of my videos to learn something about project management. But in a project, there is a project initiation, then there's project planning, then there's project implementation, and there's project monitoring and control, and then there is project closing. And PMI has given some weightage to everything. This is based on generally that how much time you generally spend. They have made some kind of criteria. The same criteria they have put in the testing as well. For example, they feel that initiating is 10 to 15% of your time. If you have a project of 100 hours, you don't take more than 10 hours for initiating it. So in the exam also, the questions related to initiating are only 10% of the total exam questions. So planning is almost 20%. Execution is 40%. Monitoring control is 20%, and closing is 10%. These numbers are quite old. You should check it, but you don't need to make a lot of changes if you don't require. I mean, but these numbers they change, and PMI tells you also that what numbers are. Let me show you. Not here. Let me show you these numbers as well so that you don't have to I had downloaded this, but maybe I put it somewhere else. Okay, let me show you those numbers in the meantime. But for example, this initiating, it will become, you need to give at least, for example, if this project is 1200 hours, then you need to give around more than 120 hours to this initiating part. And then I have put some you should not take it exactly, because this is not based on a project for everyone because it is some kind of related to somewhere to more than telecom and IT, I mean. But what can you do is that you can uh, make similar kind of a statement for your project. Like for example, I have put that involved in the conception phase of the new GUI. Now, if we take our example that if a doctor is going to build or he's going to change the process of how the patients are handled, so he should write here that he was involved in the initial phases of uh, the old process, or he studied the old process first, that how that old process was running. And then, for example, he identified the second point should be the same. I mean, identification of stakeholders and defining of. So you can take some part of it. It will help you, I mean, and you can put hours here. I will tell you that how it will help you exactly, I mean, but in the same way you should do the planning part. You should mold these words to your exact requirement because the project that you select should not be the same that the project I had selected. So, but most of the wording should remain the same. Like for example, if you have a planning part, then you need to identify the project team members. You need to create a WPS, risk registry and everything. I mean, so this will help you a lot while you are building your case. So that is why I have put this in my part of my article so that it can help you. In the same way, you will make all the projects. If you see here, there is some difference of wording. Like here, I put conduct project selection methods to evaluate the feasibility of new product and services. This is a kind of more generic word. It can be used on a lot of places. So you can see here that I have used two different kind of approaches. So this will help you make your own uh, initial assessment that okay, whatever you are going to send to PMI, you should have made it a very collaboratively and you should have spent a good time on it. So let's go to that place. In the meantime, I will take you to this so that we don't waste a lot of time here as well. So basically this part we have finished. From here you can download this Excel sheet, and this Excel sheet will help you to fill your projects and the timelines that you spend on those projects. So once you have finished this filling, then you should generally try to make it in some way, because you will have to copy from here and then paste it on your form. So you'll have to just make the format a bit better so that once you paste it on the form, then it is more visible. Because I have put here two kind of numbers. Like for example, if in initiating you have to put 327 numbers, then you have to put 10% here, 30% here, 40% here. So I have put it like that, I have taken this number and then this number I have rounded it based on the second number, and this number itself is coming from here. This number is coming from, this is 10% of this number. So this sheet has some formulas already made up. Once you will put and this is also coming directly from summary. So when you will get these hours, then your these forms, they should automatically get all these numbers updated. So this is, you can say, a good thing that you just need to fill the hours here, and all of your remaining hours are already filled. You can just play around here if you like. If you are sure that you need to play around, then you can do some kind of play around here, but generally this is a automated sheet, and you just have to check the values, check the wordings, and then just put your projects here, and everything else should be automatically uh, done. One thing is that if you see that these two projects, they are taking the same time. Okay, that is why if you see that I have taken 0.6% of the first and almost 0.4% of the second. I have not taken the full time of this, because if you have two projects which are um, overlapping, then you cannot add the overlapping projects, because based on the dates, the PMI website will not accept those. For example, these two projects, they are overlapping, and if because of any reason you want to show the both of the projects, then at least what you should do is that you should either you should remove one project, or you should uh, give half time to one project and half time to the other project, because overlapping projects are not accepted on the PMI website, because they also take the dates, and based on the dates they will not calculate both of your project towards the 2 years or 3 years of experience time. They will just take only one project. Because they will just take the dates. I mean, for example, if you have a project of 6 months and a project of 6 months, they will just add 6 months to your total time. They will not add 6 months twice. So that's why also it is not better that you give a lot of extra information, because you have to work a lot, and then at the end of the day you don't find anything good for you. So let's assume that you have made this sheet, you have corrected this sheet based on your actual experience. Then you need to just add, you need to write down that from where you get those 35 contact hours, because you have to provide this as well. And now you need to start your actual process. So for the first thing, you need to go on this PMI website where I was already here. Uh, if you remember, I came through this website, but I had clicked on login because I am already a member. But you should go on register, and then you should register uh, for the website here. So once you will open it, it is a free of charge registration, and but you just have to fill your uh, basic information about you, like for example your name and where you are working and your address and these kind of things. It's very simple. I mean, it does not have anything complicated. So very easily you will be registered. So once you have registered, then you need to open a new application form. So the application form generally comes, but it will not come for me because I'm already a PMP. That's why I had made uh, a new user, and then I had made that kind of here I had made a new user, and but you can use this. You can go to certification.pmi.org, and then you can go to PMP, because for me it will not come because I'm already certified. So it will not open this for me. Let me try one more time. Okay, it's showing that my application is already submitted because I had submitted it, I don't know, in 2011. So yeah, it did not take me to the new submission point. It took me to the certification status, and it's saying that I'm already in good standing and I have renewed up to 2023, and I have even whole of the PDUs done for the next 3 years also. So technically I'm ready for until 2026. But this is about me. I mean, this is not about you. So one more thing that I wanted to show you. Let's this is that thing. I mean, currently you have initiation is 13%, planning 24, execution 31, monitoring and control 25, and closing is on 7%. This sometimes, not a lot of time, but it may change as well. These are not exact numbers, but generally you should fill your hours based on these values. But the values that I have put here are also not bad. They are very near to it, so it will easily work. You don't have to worry a lot. So once you reach this application form, you will have to put, you need to fill basically 3 parts of it. And the first part is your academic education. So here you need to provide your final degree and your 35 contact hours. So this is professional education is your contact hours, 35 hours. Here you can see 35 hours. And here it's secondary education. Because if you show that you are a graduate, they will ask you for your secondary education degree. If you show that you are a high school only, then they will ask you for it. They ask you for your final degree based on which you want to appear. Then this is your experience. If you see here, because I had put that I am a graduate only, be a bachelor's, so it asked for 36 months. If I had put here, not exactly here basically, it take it from your main when you are registering at that time what you put yourself, it take you like that. For example, I had put it here that I'm a PhD, for example, then it should be asking me for my PhD degree, and here it should be asking me for only 24 months, not 36 months. So now this is the form. Basically this is per project based, the same that we have filled here, project based. You need to copy your project name, and then you need to put your project title, the organization for which you work, your job title. You don't need to put project manager here. You need to put what was your actual job title, and then what kind of functional or reporting area you had, and what was your primary focus, and what kind of methodology you used, what was the team size, what was the project budget. These all things are basically you can say that these are not, these are just to they just want to know that if you understand these things or not. I mean, that is why these things are here. And generally these are not too much important, but if you go in the audit, then maybe it can become a problem for you. But the main thing is your project dates. For example, if you put a project dates of 6 months here, as I told you here as well, that if you have two projects which with same dates, so if you will put one project with these same dates and another project, here it will only count one of your project, for example, because it takes from the date. For example, February 2015 to 2019. Now if you put 100 projects within these same dates, this number will never change. It will change only on the first project because the dates are not changing. It will only add new dates when you will change the exact dates. So as you will be adding new and new projects, it will be adding your, because when you will put the save experience, it will add the months here. And as soon as it will reach this 36 months, this will become green. It means that now you don't need to actually put any new project, you are good to go. And this sheet which I have here, once you have completed this sheet, make it a good format because it will copy it as a text here. If you see here the serial number initiating, then 123 is coming here, so it will be coming as a text. But the good thing is that if you make it initially and then you can just copy from here and paste here, so this will be submitted to PMI, and based on this they can understand that okay, you understand what a project is, how a project is done, and based on this they will accept your application or they will not accept your application. So the bottom line is that this making of this sheet will help you in filling this form. Some people, what they do is that they just put very few words here, that for example in project description they will just write that I have done this project in a very good way and these kind of things, and then when this is not accepted, then they have to then put a lot of further efforts. I mean, so if you initially do all of your efforts in this way while you are preparing and while you are thinking that you should do your PMP or not, then this will at least help you when you are filling the form, and you can fill the form very easily. So once you complete those two things, then you need to provide this exam details. This is, you can say, the third part of the form. So you need to provide your address, your phone number, your email address, your location. If you will need any accommodation, I don't know why they put it like that. I mean, if you need any accommodation, you can arrange it as well, but this is their style. Then you should accept the terms and conditions, and then you should just click on submit. Submitting your form just takes a very few seconds. I mean, so once you submit the form, you get this, that your form is submitted for review, and you get an email that your form is received. So now this is the tricky part. 10% of random applications are selected for audit. Like when I had applied, I also get an audit. But a lot of my friends whom I helped in filling the form and submitting the form, all of them did not get an audit. Some of them did get audit. So once you get an audit, what you have to do is that you have to submit copies of your diploma or their global equivalent. Then you have to provide the signatures of your supervisor and manager recorded in the experience verification section. They will just send you some papers, and that paper should be built based on your own input, and then you have to get those papers signed by your supervisors who you have shown here. For example, if you have shown here that you have worked here in this company for this project, then they will ask you to get this project signed by the project supervisor. That is why I was asking you that if, for example, if I put my 200 project and I get an audit, then it will be a big problem for me to go and find those 200 guys and get their signatures. And one thing is that if you are audited, then this 35 contact hours, this also needs to be, you need to provide a copy of the certificate from where you did that contact hours, so to make them sure that yes, you have really done this education. So as I told in the start that this audit, you need to submit it in the same 90 days. Once you get an audit, you have 90 days to respond to that audit. So in that 90 days, you have to gather all of these information and then you put it in a single envelope. Don't send, don't do like, for example, you get some things and then you just send it to PMI and you get something else and you send separately. Make it a single package so that it's easy for them as well. They also don't want to deal with a lot of different envelopes. But once your audit is also approved, once you get kind of approval that okay, your application is now approved, you can proceed for the application fee, they will send you a link. This link should be basically of Pearson, and then you will need a credit card for payment. So you should already have arranged a credit card so that but you have 1 year, I mean, so you can arrange this payment anyhow if you want to go for the exam. This is the fee structure. Exam fee is 405 for member and 555 for non-members. So if you are a member, you get a discount of $150. And as I told you, membership fee is $139. So you get at least a $10 saving if you become a member. And just God forbid if you failed, I mean, then you can appear 3 times in 1 year, and every time the non-member fee is $100 more. So if by chance you failed and you reattempt, and if you are a member, so in every reattempt you save 100 extra dollars. So that's why this $140 payment is, you can say that it's very crucial and very beneficial, because if by chance you lose one exam, then at least, because if you have to appear again, then at least in the appearing again, you could save some money. So last part of my article is not exactly related to how to appear or how to fill the form. The filling part is complete. We have shown that how you need to fill, what information is required, how it is filled. But when you are preparing for the exam, then I have provided some tips here. One tip is that to study the PMBOK book. Study it very thoroughly and try to understand the logic behind the processes, their prerequisites and their outputs, because the questions are usually based on this. There are a lot of mathematical questions also, 10, 12, 15% about scheduling index and cost index and these kind of things that you can learn separately, I mean. So you try to get some mock test software and give some tests before appearing in the actual test, so that you can go through the mental pressure and everything. You can understand that how the testing procedure works, because it's 4-hour test with 200 questions, so 50 questions per hour, so almost 1 question per minute. You can take a 10-minute break, which is also very much recommended. I mean, like I also took that break. It is recommended to break. I mean, you should break during the test because it's a 4-hour test. So giving it in a continuous manner is not recommended. So try to do some combined studies so that because it's better, it increases your knowledge retention level. And then there are some of my videos. I will recommend that if you are planning for a project management professional certification, it's better that even if you go or you don't go, you watch some of my videos. All of the videos are in English and in Urdu or Hindi language as well, because I'm basically from Pakistan, so English is not my mother tongue. So, but these videos, they should give you a very good idea that what is project management, and for example, what is a project. For example, what is this PMI, PMP, what is PMP, okay, what is WPS, why project fails, what is a stakeholder. So some of these topics, I will add hopefully some more topics in the future as well. Currently these are all the topics that I have talked over. So generally I add some topics after a few weeks or a few months. So once, if you open some of these videos, you can subscribe to my channel as well if you like, and then but you should watch it. It will give you a very good idea of what is project management, how you can uh, think that you are a project manager or not. I will add this one video separately, inshallah, very soon. That how come everyone is basically a project manager? How we are all project managers? Whatever we are doing, we are basically project managers. So this is, I think, this is one important point that I have also got from this. At the end of the day, I hope this article was good for you. I will add this at the end of in the description of my video, so that you can you can check this article. I have here some more things as well. I mean, here also I have tried to, these are the same videos, but I have tried to give some introduction of these videos, and there are some extra videos as well. And I had opened this one, exam prep, but I was not able to give a lot of time. There are some questions, and then you can check the answers of these questions. So I was thinking to add questions on a regular basis, but it was not possible for me. I did not get a lot of time. But in the same way, you can try to get these questions from many other sources and try to um, do a lot of testing of yourself, that where do you really stand. Because if you see this price is not something you need to pay. Almost $545 if you appear in first exam and you pass it. Still it will cost you $550 almost, and by chance if you fail twice, it will reach $1,000. So before spending $1,000, I will give my suggestion that please go through these kind of videos, not basically mine, maybe anyone else, and go through testing, test yourself, check yourself, learn something, so that at least you don't waste a lot of your money. So I wish, I pray, I think that hopefully if you want to give a PMP exam, you should be able to do it. After watching this video, you will learn something from it. It will help you achieve your goal. So if you like it, give some comments. If you like it, then subscribe to my channel as well, and keep in contact with me. And if you want to have any further information of any kind, you can always contact me in any of the way. I will prefer this, that The best preference is that you make a comment here, and second preference is that you send an email to me. The third is that you use this number to make a WhatsApp message to me. Please do not make a call, because calling takes much more time. The WhatsApp message I can read on my own time, and then I can reply. So I hope it was a beneficial thing for you. So see you in my some next video. I will be uploading the same video in Urdu very soon. So if you are more interested in Urdu language, then just wait for 1 or 2 days maximum, and the same video will be available in Urdu or Hindi as well. So see you. Goodbye.